阿佐ヶ谷お出口は右側です。
A place that keeps calling me back every year. The train rattles, the stall chimes, the quiet glow of vending machines at night. It all feels familiar. Japan is where my ideas gather, where I slow down, reset, and start again. Ending my year here feels right, and I'm taking you guys along with me. In Japan, inspiration can happen anytime, and for me, it started on my first day, on the way to my stay. Every corner felt worth noticing. The streets, the homes, even the public toilet near where I'm staying. I didn't want to lose these moments from this trip, so I decided to fully utilize Notion while everything was still fresh. Everything became usable, organized, and ready when I needed it. Next, let's head into the places that shaped this trip. We start at Jimbocho Book Street. Every shop feels a little different. Some are packed tight with books, others feels more open and quiet. People take their time browsing, flipping through pages, mostly keeping to themselves. It's the feeling of the street, the worn shelves, and the calm energy that makes you slow down. That's something I really want to bring into my own work. I then save it as Book Street of Tokyo, a quick entry I can come back to when I need inspiration. Tokyo can feel overwhelming sometimes, and Kosuan Tea House is where things slow down. It's in Jiukaoka, and you're greeted by a small Japanese garden with clear windows that let you see into the house. Once you enter, the view stands out right away, along with how the sunlight moves through the spaces. The interior is full of small details, subtle materials, quiet corners, and those details you only catch if you take your time to look around. Paired with tea and simple snacks, it becomes a comfortable place to sit and just stay for a while. That exact feeling stuck with me, which is why I added it to my list of recommended spots in Tokyo. I always find myself going back to older designs, so I knew I had to visit places like the Edo Tokyo Architectural Museum. It's located inside Kogani Park, and the walk through the park feels really peaceful with the greenery all around. It sets the mood even before you arrive at the museum. The museum itself splits into 3 main zones: Center, East and West. I started at the East Zone, where you'll find restored shops and everyday tools. It's probably the closest way to experience the atmosphere of Old Tokyo, also known as Shitamachi. One place that stood out was the public bathhouse Kodakarayu. The exposed structure, wooden beams, and soft light coming through the windows create a calm atmosphere and really showed the level of craftsmanship. The facade across the museum are very iconic. Large lattice windows, dark wood, and tiled roofs. The one that stayed with me the most was the house of Kunio Meikawa, built in 1942. When you first stepped in, you're greeted by floor-to-ceiling windows that work beautifully with the Japanese sunlight. The textures from the sliding screens and the paper lamps feel very mid-century, which I absolutely love. While all this inspiration and notes are still fresh in my head, I made a quick entry in Notion and prompted it to build an inspiration page in a format that I can reuse for future references. here are the other homes and farmhouses that stuck with me in many different ways. After spending some time around history, it's easy to see how Japan's past still shows up in the present. You can see it around Tokyo, like the Le Maire store in Ibisu. The store is inside a beautifully kept former private home, a 2-story wooden house from the 1960s with a small Japanese garden next to it. Le Maire designed the space to feel naturally lived in, almost like walking into someone's home. Each room is laid out clearly, separating menswear, women's wear, and accessories. And the way they place the pieces around the space is so considered, it doesn't feel overly done or cluttered. There's also a small yard where you can chill, appreciate the greenery, and watch how the sunlight moves through the spaces. It makes the whole shopping experience feel very comfortable. There's even a kitchen inside, which makes it feel even more like a private home than a store. Being offered tea and a small treat adds to the warm and the personal feeling. You can see this same level of intention along the streets of Aoyama. These are the kinds of details and feelings I want to apply for my own branding, and so it will be added to my Notion database. Now, how do I actually use all of this information in my Notion for my workflow? I started with the Inspiration Hub page, because after a few days of saving stuff, it gets messy fast. I skim through what I captured and file it where it belongs. Jimbocho Street goes into mood board, cafes go into my Tokyo list, interiors go into references, and store details go into branding notes. I'm not doing much, just making it easy to find it later. And this is where Notion Agent really helped me a lot, even during this sorting step. I had Notion Agent to do the first layer of organization for me. It grouped similar entries, added quick tags, and cleaned up the messy bits into something readable. Stuff that would usually take me days takes seconds now. Once that's done, that's where Notion Agents really shine. I run one agent command to turn the best entries into content ideas, map them into rough weeks on my calendar, or even prompt it to create guides based on the things I learned. And just like that, my Japan inspiration trip finally makes sense.